Jacob Zuma, South Africa's former president, is no stranger to the spotlight, whether for his controversial leadership, his intertwined personal relationships, or his lavish lifestyle. As of 2025, his net worth sits at an estimated $20 million, fueled by pensions, book deals, and investments. Known for his polygamous marriages, Zuma has been married to 6 women and has fathered over 20 children. His lifestyle and finances remain topics of public fascination, often stirring debates about their ties to his tumultuous political career. Jacob Zuma's political legacy and personal life. Jacob Zuma's life has been a blend of political triumphs and personal complexities. Known for his influential leadership style and traditional values, Zuma's legacy remains polarizing. Here's a closer look at the key highlights of his presidency and the unique dynamics of his family life. A controversial presidency. Jacob Zuma's presidency from 2009 to 2018 was anything but ordinary. While he positioned himself as a champion of economic reform and a staunch advocate for marginalized communities, his tenure was overshadowed by numerous corruption allegations and scandals that continue to spark debate. State capture crisis. The term state capture became a part of South African political discourse during Zuma's presidency. Documents and testimonies tied high-level government appointees and contracts to the influence of the Gupta family, close allies of Zuma. Investigations revealed that the Guptas allegedly used their proximity to him to sway government deals worth millions of dollars. Nkandla scandal. Zuma faced public outrage over the misuse of state funds to upgrade his private residence in Nkandla, KwaZulu-Natal. The upgrades, listed as security improvements, included a swimming pool, amphitheater, and cattle kraal. This misuse of taxpayer money resulted in a court order demanding that he repay part of the $20 million cost. The arms deal allegations. As part of a controversial 1999 multi-billion-dollar arms procurement deal, allegations of bribes and illegal transactions have followed Zuma for decades. His initial charges were dropped but later reinstated. The trial linked to this case is set to resume in 2025, keeping his legal troubles very much alive. Populist appeal. Despite his controversies, Zuma maintained a strong grassroots following. Many of his supporters, particularly in his home province of KwaZulu-Natal, view him as a relatable figure who understands their struggles. His signature struggle song, Umshini Wami, has become a rallying cry for his base, symbolizing his enduring connection to South Africa's working class. Zuma's presidency left a complex legacy, mixing promises of transformation with scandals that eroded public trust in government institutions. To this day, he remains a controversial figure whose influence on South African politics hasn't waned. Understanding Zuma's family dynamics. Jacob Zuma's family story is just as multifaceted as his political career. A proud member of the Zulu nation, Zuma takes immense pride in upholding traditional practices, including polygamy, a key aspect of his personal life that has drawn both admiration and criticism. Polygamous marriages. Zuma has been married to 6 women over his lifetime, although not all are part of his household in 2025. Polygamy is recognized under South African law, and Zuma has often defended his choice as part of his Zulu heritage. His marriages reflect a mix of political alliances, personal bonds, and his adherence to traditional customs. His known wives. Gertrude Sizakele Khumalo, known as his first wife, Zuma married Khumalo in 1973. Their relationship is deeply rooted in Zulu traditions, though she maintains a relatively low public profile. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, a prominent political figure in her own right, Dlamini Zuma is a former Minister of Health and chairperson of the African Union Commission. Although divorced, she remains publicly linked to Zuma due to their shared political ties. Thobeka Madiba, known for her dynamic public appearances, she is one of Zuma's most visible spouses. They formally wed in 2010 and have 3 children together. Gloria Bongekile Ngema, married in 2012, Ngema has often accompanied Zuma to official events and played a notable role in their family's public image. Zuma's remaining wives and former relationships, including Kate Manshow, who tragically passed away, further highlight the complexity of his personal life. A large family tree, with over 20 children from his marriages and relationships, Zuma's household is extensive. While many admire his commitment to family values and traditional rights, others question the financial strain this lifestyle could have on his resources and, potentially, taxpayers' funds during his presidency. Cultural context. Unlike the Western perspective on relationships, Zuma's polygamous life is deeply embedded in African traditions. For many South Africans, Zuma embodies a connection to heritage in a country grappling with modernity and cultural diversity. Jacob Zuma's family life reflects a careful balance of tradition and personal choices. His polygamous unions, his effort to maintain cultural values, and his leadership of an ever-growing family leave a legacy that blends cultural pride with public curiosity. Whether celebrated or criticized, Zuma's personal life is inseparable from the larger narrative of his political journey. The role and lives of Jacob Zuma's 6 wives. Jacob Zuma has led a life intertwined with cultural tradition, political drama, and public fascination. His personal life, particularly his marriages, has always been a topic of discussion in South Africa. Let's explore the lives of Zuma's 6 wives, each with a unique story and influence on his legacy. Gertrude Khumalo, the first wife. Gertrude Sizakele Khumalo, Zuma's first wife, is often regarded as the matriarch of his large family. Married in 1973 during Zuma's early political career, their union was deeply rooted in Zulu tradition. Known affectionately as Ma Khumalo, she stood by Zuma through decades marked by political struggles and personal controversies. Her role as the first wife carries significant cultural and familial importance. While she maintains a low public profile, Khumalo is often seen as the caregiver and stabilizing force within the family. Despite her high-ranking position in Zuma's personal life, she avoids the limelight, instead choosing to focus on family matters and traditional roles within their Zulu heritage. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, a political powerhouse. Perhaps the most renowned of Zuma's wives is Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. Married in 1982 and divorced in 1998, she built a remarkable political career independent of her association with Zuma. Dlamini Zuma has held several significant roles, including Minister of Health, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and Chairperson of the African Union Commission. Notably, she was a pivotal figure in South Africa's fight against HIV/AIDS during her tenure as Minister of Health. Her leadership aspirations peaked in 2017 when she campaigned for the presidency of the African National Congress, though she ultimately lost. Even post-divorce, her political ties to Zuma have often been a talking point, but her career remains distinctly her own. Today, she continues to be a force within South Africa's political landscape, advocating for economic reform and women's rights. Nompumelelo Ntuli, public scrutiny and legal challenges. Nompumelelo Ntuli, often called Ma Ntuli, has faced intense public scrutiny since marrying Zuma in 2008. Their relationship has had its share of controversies, with Ma Ntuli often at the center of headlines. In 2015, allegations emerged suggesting her involvement in a plot to poison Zuma, although no concrete evidence ever surfaced to substantiate the claims. The scandal led to immense personal and legal difficulties, casting a shadow over her time as one of Zuma's wives. Despite the controversies, she has reportedly focused on raising her children and maintaining a degree of privacy away from the political spotlight. Ma Ntuli's story reflects the challenges of being in a high-profile political family where every move is scrutinized. Thobeka Madiba, media presence and family advocacy. Thobeka Madiba Zuma, who married Jacob Zuma in 2010, is among his more visible wives. Known for her sophisticated public appearances, she frequently engages in advocacy for women's and children's rights. Throughout their marriage, Thobeka has taken part in charity events, using her platform to address issues affecting South African families. Thobeka is also an active user of social media, giving the public occasional glimpses into Zuma family life. Her outspoken nature and support for gender equality have made her an influential figure, bridging the gap between the traditional role of a wife in Zulu culture and a modern advocate for social change. Other wives, Gloria Ngema and Kate Mancho. In addition to his prominent spouses, Jacob Zuma was married to Gloria Bongekile Ngema and the late Kate Mancho. Gloria Ngema, who became his wife in 2012, has often accompanied Zuma to significant events. Known for her composed demeanor, she provides support within the family and represents them on formal occasions. Unlike some of the other wives, Gloria keeps a relatively low profile, focusing on her role within the household. Kate Mancho, Zuma's second wife, tragically passed away in 2000. A deeply private individual, she was known for being a thoughtful and supportive partner during the early years of Zuma's political life. Her death was a great loss to the family and left a lasting impact on Zuma and his children. Jacob Zuma's wives reflect a blend of tradition, individuality, and resilience. From the quiet strength of Ma Khumalo to the political prestige of Dlamini Zuma, each has played a significant role in shaping the narrative around Zuma's personal and public life. While often praised and criticized in equal measure, their lives are a window into the complexities of being part of a high-profile family that balances cultural traditions with modern challenges. Jacob Zuma's lifestyle in 2025. Jacob Zuma continues to be a polarizing figure in South Africa as of 2025. His lifestyle reflects a mix of his Zulu cultural roots, political ambitions, and the challenges stemming from his controversial past. From his infamous Nkandla homestead to his ongoing legal battles, Zuma's life remains under scrutiny. Let's explore key aspects of his lifestyle this year. Nkandla, Zuma's infamous homestead. Nkandla, located in the rural hills of KwaZulu-Natal, remains central to Jacob Zuma's identity. The property, often referred to in the media as the Nkandla scandal, symbolizes the controversial intersections of Zuma's personal life, public office, and national politics. Lavish upgrades. The upgrades completed during Zuma's presidency, amounting to an estimated $20 million in state funds, continue to be a source of public outrage. These upgrades allegedly included a swimming pool, an amphitheater, a cattle kraal, and even a visitor center. Critics argue that many of these features were unnecessary for security purposes, raising questions about the misuse of taxpayer money. Symbol of Zuma's legacy. In 2025, Nkandla stands as both a fortress and a symbol of political impunity to many South Africans. While followers view it as a reflection of Zuma's cultural pride and stature, detractors see it as a physical manifestation of corruption. Despite numerous court rulings, Zuma has been largely resistant to repaying the funds, which has only cemented Nkandla's association with public dissatisfaction. Ongoing maintenance costs. Maintaining such a large and complex estate is no small feat. Reports suggest that Zuma has faced financial difficulties maintaining Nkandla, sparking speculation about whether his political allies have stepped in to assist. Yet, the property remains a statement of his status and a gathering point for his supporters. Nkandla encapsulates the dual narratives of Jacob Zuma, a leader who stands for traditional values to some and a figure synonymous with controversy to others. Legal and social challenges. Jacob Zuma's legal troubles have not subsided in 2025. Instead, they have evolved, further entrenching his name in South Africa's ongoing political and judicial sagas. Arms deal trial. The centerpiece of Zuma's legal battles is the long-awaited trial for corruption, fraud, and money laundering tied to the 1999 multi-billion-dollar arms deal. Accused of taking bribes from French arms manufacturer Thales, Zuma has employed delaying tactics, often referred to as the Stalingrad strategy, to push the case off for over 15 years. The trial, expected to run from April to September 2025, could bring significant consequences for Zuma, marking a pivotal moment in his post-presidency years. Contempt of court sentence. Zuma's legal woes also include his 2021 conviction for contempt of court after refusing to testify in a high-profile inquiry into state corruption. Although granted medical parole, the legal back and forth over the legitimacy of his release remains unresolved. Private prosecution. Adding to the courtroom drama, Zuma is actively pursuing a private prosecution against President Cyril Ramaphosa, accusing the sitting president of leaking confidential medical records. This move is seen as part of Zuma's broader strategy to stay relevant in South Africa's ever-tumultuous political sphere. Social impact. On a personal level, these challenges have placed a strain on Zuma's legacy. While his supporters paint him as a victim of political targeting, others see his legal battles as a distraction from South Africa's pressing issues, like economic hardship and corruption. With each new court date, Zuma's name grows more entangled in South Africa's struggle to hold leaders accountable. Jacob Zuma's legal and social challenges highlight his tenacity and refusal to quietly fade into obscurity. In 2025, he remains a lightning rod for discussion, embodying the tension between South Africa's cultural heritage and its democratic aspirations. Jacob Zuma's net worth and financial standing in 2025. Jacob Zuma, South Africa's former president, continues to captivate public interest in 2025, not just for his political influence but also for his wealth. His net worth is estimated at $20 million, a mix of state pensions, personal investments, and other sources of income. However, his financial standing hasn't been without controversy, as some link his fortune to allegations of corruption and misuse of power. Major sources of income. Jacob Zuma's income in 2025 stems from several key avenues. Despite no longer holding public office, he has managed to sustain his wealth through structured pensions, traditional royalties, and possibly private ventures. State pension. Zuma's annual pension as a former president currently contributes a significant portion to his income, estimated at around $2.98 million annually. This translates to approximately $157,000, providing him with a steady stream of government-backed earnings. Nkandla property. While Nkandla, his infamous homestead, has been a center of controversy, it remains a symbol of Zuma's cultural pride. The estate's ongoing status raises questions about its ability to generate private income, potentially through traditional ceremonies or cultural tourism. Though little has been confirmed, its scale suggests diverse use. Unconfirmed business ventures. There is speculation that Zuma maintains investments or business stakes, although no substantial evidence links him directly to thriving corporate interests. Still, his behind-the-scenes influence in South Africa's political and economic networks could provide financial benefits. Public appearances and speaking engagements. As a prominent political figure, Zuma might be capitalizing on paid speaking engagements at traditional gatherings or private events, often aimed at his loyal base. Much of the funding for his lifestyle also draws on support from political allies and grassroots organizations sympathetic to his image as a man of the people. These contributions help sustain both his public persona and his family-oriented livelihood. Controversies over wealth accumulation. Jacob Zuma's financial success has been consistently shadowed by public scrutiny and allegations of corruption. His trajectory from modest beginnings to amassing millions has invited questions about how he acquired such significant wealth under contentious circumstances. State capture allegations. Perhaps the most prominent controversy involves Zuma's ties to the Gupta family. Accusations of state capture claim that lucrative government contracts were funneled to benefit this politically connected family, allegedly with Zuma's approval. Critics argue this dynamic enriched Zuma and his allies at the expense of taxpayers. Investigations into these claims are ongoing, with court proceedings expected to continue into late 2025. Nkandla renovations. Zuma's use of $20 million in public funds to upgrade his Nkandla homestead remains one of the most glaring examples of financial mismanagement during his presidency. The project, initially justified as security enhancements, included luxury additions like a swimming pool and amphitheater. Zuma faced legal intervention, repaying only a fraction of the total costs. Arms deal corruption trial. The decades-long fallout from the 1999 arms deal continues to haunt Zuma's finances. Accused of accepting bribes from a French weapons manufacturer, Zuma will face a court trial resuming in April 2025. If proven guilty, it could dramatically alter his financial standing and legacy. Supporter donations. Support from loyal followers also comes under scrutiny. Zuma's popular base has been accused of providing undisclosed financial support to maintain his lifestyle. This includes legal fees for prolonged trials, a financial burden often offset by donations collected through public campaigns aligned with political rhetoric. Public perception of Zuma's finances remains polarized. To his critics, his wealth is a symbol of systemic corruption. Yet, to his supporters, it reflects his resilience and resourcefulness amid adversity. This divide encapsulates the broader narrative of Jacob Zuma, a complex figure whose financial legacy, like his political career, epitomizes both triumph and controversy. The legacy and future of Jacob Zuma. As one of South Africa's most polarizing figures, Jacob Zuma's legacy continues to shape the nation's identity in 2025. From his controversial time as president to his enduring influence in the political sphere, Zuma remains both celebrated and criticized. His story is not merely one of political power but also a reflection of South Africa's complex socio-cultural landscape. Let's explore his current standing and influence in greater detail. Public opinion on Zuma. In 2025, Jacob Zuma's image divides South Africans. While some see him as a political relic clinging to relevance, others regard him as a champion of tradition in the working class. His ability to remain a central figure in South African politics reflects his deep cultural connection with groups who feel overlooked by mainstream leadership. Much of Zuma's ongoing support comes from his home province of KwaZulu-Natal, where he has cultivated a loyal base over decades. In KZN, he is seen not only as a former leader but also as a protector of Zulu identity and values. Supporters view him as someone who speaks their language, addressing issues like economic hardship, inequality, and cultural marginalization. For these followers, his infamous struggle song, Umshini Wami, remains an anthem of resilience and belonging. However, public opinion is far from unanimous. Younger generations and urban voters, in particular, are less enamored with Zuma's legacy. Critics argue that his leadership era left South Africa grappling with entrenched corruption, weakened institutions, and unfinished economic reforms. To many, his legal battles have come to symbolize impunity among the country's elite, a sticking point for those who demand accountability. Interestingly, Zuma has also capitalized on his image as a victim. Legal challenges, including corruption trials and past imprisonment for contempt of court, have enabled him to position himself as a figure persecuted by the political establishment. This narrative resonates with those who believe the current government has failed to prioritize the needs of ordinary citizens. In essence, Zuma's continued prominence reflects the complexities of a nation where cultural pride, economic frustration, and historical grievances often intersect. With his newly established party, the Nkandla Party, now making waves in national politics, Zuma remains a formidable force on the South African stage. Zuma's influence on South African politics. Jacob Zuma's footprint in South African politics is as undeniable as it is intricate. By 2025, his impact extends beyond his time as president to a broader reshaping of the political landscape. The formation of the Enca party in late 2023 has been his latest move in a career defined by political maneuvering and resilience. This party not only disrupted the ruling African National Congress, where Zuma served as a pivotal figure for many years, but also gained traction in key areas, winning 14.6% of the vote in the 2024 elections. Zuma's entry into the political space as leader of the Enca party has drawn comparisons to populist movements seen globally. His strategy is steeped in addressing economic inequality while leaning heavily into cultural identity. For Zuma, the Enca party serves as both a political platform and an extension of his personal legacy, amplifying his message that traditional values must coexist with modern governance. Provincial power in KwaZulu-Natal. In his stronghold of KwaZulu-Natal, Zuma's Enca party secured an impressive 45.3% of the vote in 2024. This dominance rattled the ANC, marking the first time since 1994 that the party faced such significant opposition in the province. This loss underscored Zuma's unique ability to mobilize support based on regional identity and discontent with the central government. Impact on the ANC. Zuma's influence has also diluted the once dominant ANC's grip on national politics. The party's alliance with various factions has fractured, with voters peeling away to join the Enca party or other opposition groups such as the Economic Freedom Fighters. Some argue that Zuma's departure from mainstream politics has exacerbated the ANC's decline, while others believe his tactics have merely exposed existing weaknesses in the party. Cultural resonance. Zuma's politics are deeply tied to his identity as a Zulu leader. His emphasis on issues like land reform and opposition to liberal policies like same-sex marriage plays well with conservatives and those yearning for cultural preservation. This cultural framing allows him to form an emotional connection with voters that transcends traditional policy debates. Legal drama and symbolism. Legal battles over corruption charges connected to the 1999 arms deal remain ongoing. While these controversies are widely seen as blemishes on his record, they also bolster his narrative of being unfairly targeted. His political messaging, rooted in victimhood, resonates with supporters who see him as representing their own struggles against systemic marginalization. Jacob Zuma's influence today is emblematic of a larger story, the tension between South Africa's democratic aspirations and its socio-cultural complexities. Through the Enca party and his enduring cultural appeal, Zuma has injected new dynamics into the political ecosystem. Though divisive, his role in challenging the status quo ensures that his name remains deeply embedded in the nation's ongoing narrative. Jacob Zuma's life remains a blend of tradition, controversy, and enduring public intrigue. His polygamous marriages, cultural pride, and political influence are inseparable from his legacy, which continues to shape South Africa's identity. Whether admired or criticized, Zuma represents a complex intersection of leadership, cultural heritage, and ongoing legal challenges. As he navigates financial scrutiny and a turbulent political arena, Zuma's story serves as a reminder of how personal and public lives often overlap for figures in power. What happens next for Zuma and his family will undoubtedly keep both his critics and supporters watching. With his legacy etched into the fabric of South Africa's history, the question lingers: how will this chapter ultimately define him? Share your thoughts in the comments or explore more on this topic in future posts.